really hope the person this story is about does not watch this video. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Oh gosh, I know you guys read the title, and today I am going to be telling a story about this random stranger who had a foot fetish and came up to me and touched my feet. So this is gonna get a little weird, but without further ado, let's get into this video. So this just past semester. I had a class at 9 a.m. and it would go to 10:15 a.m. and then I had another class at 12. So I would have like an hour and 45-minute long break, and both of these classes were in the library, so I would just chill in the library and study and all that stuff during my break. So one day I was sitting in the library after class as usual, studying, doing whatever, and I saw this man, African-American male, and he walked past me and he was looking around and then looked down at me and was looking around again. So it looked like he was lost, and I figured he was going to ask me for directions or something like that because he looked lost. He says, hi, what is your name? And he had a very heavy like African accent as well as a stutter, so keep that in mind while I'm telling this story. And so he says, what is your name? And I said, oh, Imani. And then he's like, well, what is your last name? And I'm like, pause. That's like sign number one, like why is he asking me what my last name is? But anyway, so I say Imani Morton, and he was like, oh, okay, my name is, to be honest, I do not remember his name because it was really hard to pronounce. And so he says, oh, Imani, are you registered to vote? And I was like, okay, this makes sense, because he had a clipboard in his hand. Figured he was just someone, you know, who worked to get college students to register to vote and all that stuff. So I said, oh yeah, I'm already registered to vote. And he was like, oh, do you have Facebook? And I'm like, yes, I have a Facebook. And so then he grabs his phone and says, Imani Morton. He goes, IMANIMORTON, and types in my name perfectly spelled, which I thought was really weird because people usually do not know the spelling. But anyway, so he goes, oh, I just added you on Facebook. I'm like, okay. And then he says, oh, are you looking to date? And I was like, what? And he says, are you looking to date? You know, I'm looking for someone to date. I'm like, oh, no, not right now. I am, but not him. After that, he says, oh, do you know where the bathroom is? And I'm like, oh yeah, you just go down the hall, make a left, you know, whatever. And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and then I'm gonna be right back and then I'm gonna add you on Instagram. I'm like, okay. So he starts to walk and he takes a few steps but then turns back and is looking at my feet. He comes back to where I'm sitting and says, oh, I like your sandals. Now keep in mind, this day, I was running a little late, so I did not have time to put lotion on my feet, okay? They were a little ashy. So he looked down and says, I love your sandals. And he starts to kneel down, you guys. So keep in mind, he's like 6 feet tall, and I see him kneeling down. And he says, oh, I love that brand. And I'm wearing American Eagle sandals. So I say, oh, American Eagle? He's like, yes. And so then he starts reaching towards my foot. And he says, can I touch your feet? And I'm like, I literally had to take a moment and just stare at him because I wasn't really sure if I heard what I thought I heard. And before I even had the opportunity to say no, he is already groping my foot. He has my foot in his hand. So like I said, my feet were a little ashy because I forgot to put lotion on. So he's like, oh, your feet. He says, your feet are rough. Your feet are dry. And I'm just like, like I had no idea what was going on. I was so in awe the whole time. So he's groping my feet, rubbing my feet, and I'm like, I'm just staring down at him like, is this really happening right now? So then he gets back up. He rises from where he was kneeling and says, you know, I just have a foot fetish. I really love feet. And I'm like, oh, I could tell. So he starts walking away like as if he's going back to the bathroom, but then turns back around and kneels back down and grabs my other foot. So I'm like, okay, what is going on? I'm like looking around like, can someone help? Like, is no one seeing what is going on right now? This random man is just groping my feet. So after he is done smothering his hands on my feet, he adds me on Instagram. I'm like, okay, you know, let me be nice, sure, add me on Instagram. You know, if he becomes creepy, I could just block him, whatever. And then he walks away, starts a conversation with, you know, like, I think the librarian, and that's it. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good here. A few weeks later, I'm sitting in the library again as usual after class, but now I'm in like a different area, and there's a lot of people around because they're waiting for the next class to start. And I see him coming, so I'm like, shit. So he comes up to me and says, hey Imani, keep in mind this man is extremely loud, you guys, and we are in a library. He is so loud. So he says, hey Imani, and instantly everyone turns because he's being so loud. So I'm like, great, everyone has their attention on me and is about to experience this man touch my feet once again. So he goes, hey, he goes, are you looking to date? Like, I want to date. Do you want to date? I'm like, no, it's okay. Everyone starts laughing. Everyone is laughing around me. And he was like, oh, let me get your number. Let me get your number. I'm like, no, it's no. No. And he was like, oh, well, why not? Why not? And I'm looking at this girl who's directly in front of me, and she's just laughing. And I'm looking these people in the eyes with the look of, please help me. And I guess they didn't get the message in my eyeballs because no one helped, and they just continued to laugh. And I'm like, no, it's okay. And he says, why not? And I'm like, I'm just not giving my phone number out right now. Just no. So he's like, okay, Imani. And I'm like, okay. And he walks away. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm glad that's over with. Even though that was a little embarrassing, but it's okay. So a couple more weeks pass, and I'm walking downstairs from my class, and I see him in the hall. I'm like, oh God, not again, Jesus Christ. And he was like, hey Imani, and I say, hey, and that was the end of it. He walked away. It was great. We just had a hi-bye conversation. There was no feet touching. There was no asking to date questions. It was great. Later on, I see on one of my friend's Snapchats who goes to school with me, she was recording him, and he was talking to like these other girls trying to touch their feet. So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking this guy's just, you know, like a little weird, you know, he does this to everyone. I'm glad I wasn't the only one that had to experience that. Another time I was out with my friend, I was in the Union where there's like a bunch of food places, and I look over and I see him next to this girl who is with this other male, like eating with him, and this man is on his knees touching her feet under the he was under the table, you guys. Under the table trying to look at her feet. And I'm just thinking, okay, like, there's something wrong with this guy. You know, he was really sweet, but you can't just be touching strangers' feet. That's just a little weird. So that is the end of my weird, random, stranger foot fetish story. I hope you guys really enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you would like to see in the next video. That's it for today. Have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!